Hi everybody, welcome back to JDTV. This week we've got our top 5.
Top 6 books.
Our top 6 books. So this week we're talking all about books. These are a mixture of personal development and business related books. And these are just some of our favourites that we either have just read or keep going back to as our all-time favourites.
Absolutely. So I'll start off with the first one. It's called The Magic. So don't get too caught up in you're not going to be doing magic tricks. It's all about the magic that can surround you when you have an attitude of gratitude. That might be a phrase that you've heard a lot of times, but it's something that we've implemented this year. I always consider myself that I've been a grateful person, but actually reading The Magic takes it to a whole new level. It's how you can find gratitude in anything, and it teaches you to be grateful for the everyday things that you maybe do take for granted, but also how to find things to be thankful for when things maybe aren't going too well as well. So rather than focusing on that and getting pulled into that negative, it teaches you how you can find something to be grateful for all of the time.
The next one, the second one, it's one of my all-time favourites. I've probably been reading it for over 10 years now. It's The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And for me, this just makes life a little bit easier for you. It's about making tiny little improvements on a daily basis. And when all that adds up together through the course of a year or a number of years, it has a massive impact on you. And again, for me, I really like the audio book version of this. I just think it brings it to life.
I can't do audiobooks, they make me fall asleep.
So I tend to listen to audiobooks either when I'm in the car, not that I've done a great deal of that over the last few months, or when I'm out walking the dogs. The next one is a brilliant book, and for me it was a game changer on dealing with rejection. So when you run your own business, you do hear the word no from time to time.
You do.
No, I'm not interested. No, it's not for me.
No, Jamie, we're not doing that harebrained idea.
And so this book, Go for No, and again, I know the authors. I've met Darren Hardy from The Compound Effect. I was lucky enough to meet him. And Andrea and Richard that wrote Go for No are two amazing people. They wrote this book and it helps you deal with rejection. So the premise of the book is, if you know your conversion rates, so let's say that you know that you convert 1 in 20 of your people, then celebrate the 19 no's along the way to getting a yes. It's a really short book. You can read it probably in an hour and a half, 2 hours. They wrote it designed so that you could read it on a flight. It's one of my best sales books that I've ever read.
And I love something that you said there about, the compound effect and the go for no, that you reread them all the time. Too often people read a book and then, it goes back on the shelf or never gets seen in the Kindle or listen to it again. Listen to your favourites over and over. These are books that we go back to time and time again. That said, the next one that I've got for you is The Saint, the Sinner. No, The Saint, the Sinner. That's another story entirely. The Saint, the Surfer and the CEO. It's by Robin Sharma. And actually, I've only recently discovered this book. It was recommended to me by a good friend who texted me in the middle of set and said, "You've got to read this. It's you all over." And it absolutely is. It's all about how you can live your best life for you while serving yourself but also serving others. So it's a parable based book. It looks at life from 3 different viewpoints: the saint, the surfer and the CEO, and it's got some really clear takeaway messages in there. I've read that twice already. Absolutely one of my new all-time favourite books. Love that one. Next.
So the 5th one is by a gentleman called Grant Cardone, and it's the 10X Rule. For me, this inspires me to do more. Why not? When I'm thinking about things now, I think about how can I 10 times the results? Because if you're doing something, why not aim really big rather than just going for mediocre? You might not achieve it, but if you do 3, 4, 5, 6 times more than you were planning, then that's got to have a massive impact on your life and your success and your happiness. So that's the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone.
And then the last one is probably one of my, absolute all-time favourites. I recommend it to almost everyone that I meet. It's The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. You may already have come across this. I think for me, this was the book that really kick-started my personal development journey, because I'd read all about these things that I should be doing: meditation, affirmations, visualization, do some exercise, do some reading, do some journaling. But I was like, when am I supposed to do all that then, on top of everything else? Hal talks about some of his background, how he came to this. He was already a very successful person, then suffered a major setback, and this is how he brought himself back round. And he says in it, this is not a direct quote, but something like, these are all the things you need to do to become the person that you need to be, to become the person that you want to be. So it finds time for all of those things and takes you through some really simple ways that you can do that. If nothing else, because I think personal development is a journey, and I think that is a really good starting point for a journey. So, you know, if you only pick one of these, if you've not read that already, or you have and you think, actually, I could reread that, start with that one and then maybe look at some of the others.
And that's it. So let us know if you've read any of these books and how they've helped you, or your top favourite book as well.
Yeah, definitely. Always looking for new books to read. Like I say, I'm definitely a Kindle, or, you know, I still love the feel of a book. There's something about a book, and I've got loads of them on my shelves, some in the loft because I will not throw them away. But yeah, we'd love to hear some recommendations from you. That's it for this week. See you next week.
See you guys.